Hi, I'm Paul Chartier, and this is Heart of Gold. We have our friends on from the Special Olympics Kentucky. Mark Berger is the communication director. Mark, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. This is a great organization. We've seen the tapes of little kids running down tracks, but maybe in a global way, tell people all about Special Olympics.
Well, it's, tapes of little kids running down tracks is actually what people know us best for. That's what we do, and it's sort of how we were started. We're, 45 years ago this July, we got our start as an international organization at Soldier Field in Chicago with about 1,000 athletes.
Started by whom?
Eunice Kennedy Shriver, the sister of John F. Kennedy, and the mother of our current chairman, Tim Shriver. And she had about 1,000 athletes from the United States, Canada, and France. And this past June, we had 1,300 athletes from Kentucky at Eastern Kentucky University for our state summer games. So that's a little, just sort of a little snippet of how the program's grown. We now have over 4 million athletes worldwide in 180 countries. And here in Kentucky, we have about 6,600 athletes, and we serve just about all 120 counties. We have 15 sports that we offer throughout the course of the year, and we range in age now from children as young as 2 in our early childhood intervention program to our oldest athlete at Summer Games this past year was 79 years old. So we're a program that serves people with intellectual disabilities in all age ranges. And we've gone from being a sports organization, which is what we were founded as, to being an organization that really handles a much broader range of things for our population. We have a health services element to us through our MedFest events and our Healthy Athletes initiatives at MedFest, which we have one here in Lexington. We're going to give school children, they'll get a free sports physical, and they'll have free dental, hearing, and vision screenings that day, and then go back to school. And we do the same things at our Healthy Athletes Wellness Fair that we hold at our summer games every year. We have, like I said, an early childhood intervention program called the Young Athletes Program. We used to only serve folks as young as 8 years old. So parents would get their original diagnosis of their child having an intellectual disability and call us. Hey, can you help us? Well, when you're 8, we can. Call us back. And we just didn't think that was good enough for the people that needed our help. So we put together the Young Athletes Program, and it's a motor and social skills training program that, like I said, serves children from 2 to 7 and actually teaches them some sports skills as they grow up so that they're ready to transition into our sports program at age 8. And we also do some sort of community building programs, especially in our school system. We have what we call Project Unify, which brings our athletes, or students with intellectual disabilities in general, together with their peers who don't have disabilities, especially in the high school setting where there can be such a difficulty of bringing those groups together, and helps teach a little understanding and build bridges between those two groups and help build stronger school communities. So we really have become, from a track and field and swimming program in July of 1968 to really a full service program that serves the needs of people with intellectual disabilities and their families and their communities statewide.
How do you define an intellectual disability?
It's any number of things, and there used to be some and there still are some real sort of solid things. A developmental delay. The thing that people notice right away are our athletes that have Down syndrome, because they have physical features that are recognizable. We have a great number of athletes in our program now with autism. All ranges of the autism spectrum can bring with them some developmental delays and developmental disabilities that qualify athletes for our program. But there's a huge range of different disabilities. Anything that has to do with a developmental disability or a sort of a intellectual impairment of some kind. So a lot of our athletes, this is the other thing that people don't really understand about our program all the time, is a lot of our athletes are really physically very gifted. We have a number of great athletes in our program because they present with an intellectual disability, not a physical disability. So, that's another part of our program. And what we do with our athletes so that they're competing on a level playing field is we separate our athletes by age, by gender, and by demonstrated ability. So if you're a 13-year-old male that plays at a certain level, you're going to play against other kids that are about your age and that play at the same level. So you have a chance to see how you'll do against people of your own ability level. And it really is a neat program. It produces some really wonderful results.
Well, you talked off air about a golfer recently. What happened with that young person?
We have a golfer in Bardstown named Eric, and he has been in our program for about 12 years. And he has tried and tried. He's a really good golfer. He really is an excellent golfer. He's tried and tried to win a gold medal at our state golf tournament. And increasingly over the last several years, part of that was to qualify for inclusion on our national games team. or our World Games teams. We send golfers to those events quite often. And this year, back in August, was the first time he'd won his division. And he qualified to be selected to our national games team for 2014. And his was the name that came up as one of the 3 golfers we'll send to the national games that are going to be held in New Jersey next summer. And he's introduced at a golf outing recently that Texas Roadhouse holds for us, and introduced as a national games athlete. And he stood up, and just the smile he got on his face, and he tipped his cap to the crowd as they cheered. Just seeing that level of accomplishment and the pride our athletes really take in their accomplishments that's the part of our program that honestly keeps volunteers coming back year after year, and that really never gets old for the people that are associated with it.
Talking about volunteers, they are a big part of what you do.
They're all of what we do, to be honest. We have a staff in the state of about 17 people. And like I said, we serve 6,600 athletes. That's not possible with 17 people. All of our programs really are delivered at the volunteer level. Volunteer coaches, volunteer scorekeepers and umpires and all those sorts of things. And we'll use about 4,000 volunteers over the course of any given year. And we have volunteer opportunities all throughout the state. Here in Central Kentucky, we have our summer games every year in June down in Richmond. We have a track meet every April. And at the end of October, we have our area bowling tournament, and all of those are huge volunteering events, and it's a great way to get involved in our program. The bowling tournament's really a great experience for volunteers because that's the event that we have that our volunteers are most often in direct contact with our athletes. The coaches aren't allowed on the lanes during our bowling tournament, so the volunteers are down there. They don't have to keep score anymore because we've all got the computers to do that.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. But they're the ones just making sure the bowlers bowl in order and keeping everything going and reporting the scores back to the scorer's table. So they're down there on the lane with the athletes, sort of encouraging them, and the athletes will go to them for high fives and things like that. And it is really one of the best volunteer activities we have in our program, as far as I'm concerned.
It sounds very heartwarming. And for people to get involved, what website can they go to? Because as this airs through October, you're probably building up the need for volunteers at the end.
Absolutely. The website is soky.org. Is the easiest way, and there's links on there to volunteer directly. You can call our office, 502-695-8222. Another great way to get in touch with us is on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/SO Kentucky, or you can search for Special Olympics Kentucky, and we make sure we keep that up to date. It's that's the way most people are finding the information they need these days. But soky.org has forms on it that you can sign up to volunteer directly there.
Bruce Stebbins. He has done a lot of good things for you, and we see the shirt for the Polar Bear Plunge, or the Polar Plunge. Talk about him a little bit, and corporate sponsors and how important they are.
Well, corporations and sponsors in general play a huge role in our program, and any non-for-profit. We have to come up with the money to provide our services somehow or another, and we do that through a number of different opportunities. Bruce and Texas Roadhouse have been a huge part of our program for the last 12 years. And we host our Polar Plunge at Bruce's restaurant out on Richmond Road, and we host a truck pull at the new Texas Roadhouse over in Beaumont Center. And we like those events because they're different. They're different sorts of fundraising events. They operate just like a walkathon. Exactly. The Polar Plunge is exactly what it says it is. Well, you raise money and jump in a pool.
Maybe not so fun, but it's a big fundraiser.
It's a big fundraiser, and the people at Texas Roadhouse make it really a great time. It's a terrific atmosphere out there. You raise money just like you do at a walkathon, and you jump in the pool. The other event is called our Big Brown Truck Pull, where you get teams of 15 together, and we tie a rope to the front of an UPS 18-wheeler, and you take turns seeing who can pull the truck 12 feet the fastest.
Who came up with that? Is that a national idea? Or
it is a national idea. We do that nationally. Some states do trucks, some states do planes, some states do trains. We do both trucks here in Lexington and in Paducah, and then we do planes in Louisville and Northern Kentucky. So those folks are pulling a 757, which is even a little bit more imposing.
That is crazy. Mark, what's coming up that we need to know about?
The biggest things we have coming up are, we've got, at any time, obviously, you can donate. You can donate through our website, again, soky.org. The bowling tournament at the end of October is the big thing. And then as we turn the calendar, there's any number of things. We have 15 sports that we produce throughout the state each year, about 85 different sporting events. So all of those things we'll start basketball leagues right at the beginning of the year throughout the state. We have winter games in January. If folks like to ski, they can come out and help our athletes learn to ski. That's one of our coolest events because we have basically a 1-to-1 volunteer to athlete ratio. And the volunteer ski partners will go teach our athletes to ski throughout the day one day, and then our athletes will be up on skis on their own and race the next day. So just any number of great things. And of course, at the turn of the year, we have the Polar Plunge, which is really our biggest fundraising season. We'll raise almost $750,000 at that event, which is a huge portion of our budget. And we'll have those websites up and ready to go at the 1st of November for people who want to start signing up and raising money to jump in the cold water in February.
Pass. So it sounds like pretty much year-round, you've got something going on to support these people that have some challenges, but it gives them a great outlet to have fun, win a medal, and do things that they see other people doing in a great way.
Exactly. We are a year-round organization. We go just like any other sort of sports program. We go from winter sports to spring sports to fall sports to winter sports again, and we go through that whole series. And the great thing about our program is it gives people with intellectual disabilities the opportunity to prove to the people around them, not necessarily their parents who obviously believe in them, but to the communities and the people in their schools, to prove that if you give people with intellectual disabilities an opportunity, they will exceed your expectations every time of what they're capable of. And they learn skills through sports. And you've been involved in sports. I've been involved in sports my whole life. The skills you learn, teamwork, working with the boss, all those things transfer to their schools, to their jobs, to their communities, makes them better students, makes them better employees, makes them better citizens, and really improves the lives, not just of themselves and their families, but all the people around them, all the people that they interact with.
And it's got to be so rewarding for themselves to feel like they're accomplishing something and part of something.
Absolutely, and the thing that I always remember is that when I see one of our athletes accomplish something great, there's an excellent chance they've been told that they were never going to be able to do that. Or that some people have tried to keep them from being able to do that at various points. And the great thing about Special Olympics is we give them the opportunities. I've got a buddy here in Lexington who's an athlete, and he was always a huge sports fan, but he didn't have the opportunities as a little kid to participate in sports like he saw the kids in his neighborhood. And as soon as he got to Special Olympics, you could see his confidence grow. You could see everything about his sort of personality and expand. And now he's a great guy, really confident. Loves being around other people and loves the opportunity to participate in sports. And Special Olympics has given him and his family that opportunity. And it is a truly rewarding part of the volunteer process of what I do, what we do at our office, to see our athletes' lives change. And that's really, you can talk about providing a track meet all you want, but the end result is that Special Olympics participation changes the lives of our athletes, of their families, and of their communities. And that's really the benefit that we provide, not that we provide a track meet or a softball game. That's a tool to get where we need to be. Exactly.
In the last 15 seconds, if you can give the website again for people that want to volunteer, it's such a great organization.
You can go to soky.org or call our office, 502-695-8222. Both those ways will get you in. We'd love to have you.
And Mark, I'd love to have you on the program tonight. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Paul.
Mark
Appreciate
Berger,
it.
thanks so much. I'm Paul Chartier. We'll be right back with Heart of Gold.